Welcome to the Bite Size Brilliance Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. April Darley, and today we're going to talk about the cycles and rhythms in your life. Everything in nature is cyclical. The seasons, the growth, and you, my friend, are also a cyclical being. Women know this more than anyone else because of that special 28-day cycle that we all have, but everyone has cycles in their energy. And sometimes our bodies aren't a match for how modern day life has evolved and been designed. Several podcast episodes ago, I talked about how it's easy to be overwhelmed by data because we're using an ancient brain that was not designed to take in as much data as we give it every day. And what's happening is overwhelm and burnout. Now, if that's the case for you, I do have a resource, brand new resource. I've just launched it within the last few weeks, and it is specifically to address burnout. And it's going to help you break free from the burnout cycle. It's the High Achievers Survival Kit, and that gives you strategies to break free from that burnout. And that is a cycle that is so easy to get into in modern day life. We aren't designed for nonstop work. And all you have to do is kind of go back a couple of 100 years. You don't even have to go back that far, but you'll see where we used to live lives sun up to sundown. And then we didn't do a lot after dark. And it wasn't until the invention of electricity that our hours started to get extended. And now that we had electricity, factories started to add on a night shift. And then suddenly we have cities that never sleep. And that takes a toll on us, that feeling that we need to be in constant motion or else. And sometimes there's really no actual physical consequence if we were to slow down. Some people believe, oh, if I'm not 110%, I'll get fired from my job, or people will think I am lazy. This comes up a lot for my clients, is they have some emotional definition of what it means to be lazy. And generally, they've picked up that from their family or somewhere else in childhood. So, where they have meant rest equals lazy, their emotional brain makes that definition. So, if that happens whenever you try to rest, and that equals lazy, and lazy equals bad, and bad equals people won't like me. And if they don't like me, I'll be outcast, rejected, or alone. The emotional brain feeds that data to the survival brain, whose complete job is to make sure that you are part of a group or tribe because your chances of survival are increased that way. So if it follows that emotional cascade of if I am not productive, then I am lazy, I'll be judged, unworthy, I'll be outcast, it starts to panic. It starts to panic and will hit that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response. And then it makes you anxious. So a lot of people actually get anxious when they try to rest, and that is why, or at least one reason why. Your emotional definition could be slightly different, but this is a theme that has come out on a lot of my clients. They have a harmful definition or an unhealthy definition of what it means to rest. And you will also see that coupled with insomnia because guess what sleep is? Rest. And if your survival brain has keyed into the clue that rest or relaxation is dangerous to us because we might get judged and outcast or end up a failure because we're not productive, then it will view sleep as the enemy or unhelpful or harmful. And then what happens, you tend to have issues with insomnia. You can't turn your mind off. You get woken up a lot. You're a very light sleeper. And it's this entire cascade because your logical brain knows that if you don't get enough sleep, if you don't get enough downtime, you're going to burn out and hit a wall. And the same thing happened to me, my friend, when I've hit a couple of walls, right? You can recover from burnout. But the last time I hit that wall was when I was a doctor. I looked out at a sea of patients in the waiting room and I just wanted to quit at that moment. I even made a joke with the office manager. I was like, you know what? What would you do if I quit right now? Just walked out. She gave me one of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given. So I'm going to finish that story and give it to you. She said, Dr. Darley, you are a grown ass woman. You can do whatever you want as long as you're willing to face the consequences. And let me tell you, that sobered me up real quick because I would be letting those patients in the waiting room down, those patients that were in pain, that were coming to me for relief. And I couldn't do that. So that sobered me up real quick. And I did finish my day. I didn't walk out. But it also made me aware I can't keep going at that pace. I was burning out. If I was joking about walking out of a job that I spent 9 years training for, it meant I needed to change my life and I needed to prioritize. And so I started looking at life differently. I started looking at where I wasn't resting enough because I had these unhealthy definitions of what it meant, what achievement meant, what goals meant, what jobs meant. And did I want to spend my life in this constant churn cycle? And the answer was no. I ended up leaving medicine about within the year. I left medicine with that. And definitely it was a great choice for me and I don't regret it, but it was a hard time. And it took me 6 months of laying on the couch doing almost nothing before my body had recovered enough that I could get back to doing something again. And I didn't know what I was going to do in that 6 month time. And then your body needs enough rest so that your creativity comes back online. So once I got the physical rest and I created space in my life, that when you are super busy, when you're overworked, your body doesn't have enough space for play. Your mental space for play is not there. So, one of the things that is so important is to make sure that you are incorporating fun, creativity, and play. Because what happens to us as individuals is when we work so hard without the play, we end up in a depressive state because we are meant to do both. We're meant to use our intellect, but we're also meant to use our intuition and our artistry and creativity. And you might be more skilled in one or the other, and you might give more time or attention to one or the other, and that's fine, but you can't shut out one or the other without consequences. So everything is cyclical. You see it in the seasons. There's a time for planting seeds in the spring. And you need to be patient to allow for growth. And you're going to see some of the fruits of that labor in the summer when you can start harvesting. And then things are winding down in the fall, and you pick that last harvest. And then winter is generally the time where nature decides to rest and reset. So we may not correspond, our energy levels may not correspond with the seasons, but you do have a certain time of the month that your energy may not be as high as others, or you might have a certain quarter of the year where you're just phoning it in. It doesn't feel, you don't feel inspired, you don't feel bored. I mean, you feel bored. So if that's your section of life right now, where you feel bored, uninspired, your energy is really low, then ask yourself, where am I neglecting self-care, self-love? Where am I denying myself fun? Do I have an unhealthy relationship to work or productivity? What am I making that mean? What's the significance I give that? And conversely, what is the significance I'm giving rest? Do I think rest and rejuvenation is less important? Do I think that that's not actually work? You do need it. Just like you need to take the time to eat food or go to the bathroom. I mean, these are things that your human needs for optimal function. So, rest, relaxation, creativity, and fun are part of the things that you cyclically will need. And they are a priority. They are really important, just as important as making your deadlines, seeing those patients, having those meetings at your job. Not everything is a priority, but you're the golden goose in your life. If you don't take care of yourself, then every other area of your life is affected. And this is why burnout can be really insidious. It can sneak up on you and you can hit a wall. And that wall, that's when most of us wake up and go, oh, yeah, I wasn't getting enough rest. I wasn't eating the right foods. I wasn't exercising at all. And as a retired doctor, I can tell you so many people wait until something massive happens in their health before they make changes. But I guarantee you, your brain and your body are already giving you signals that you are unbalanced somewhere. But are you slowing down enough to pay attention? That's the real question. So, the whole point of this episode was to get you to look at the cycles in your life, not as a problem. Like, there's nothing wrong with you if you feel you need more rest. And it's just the way you look at things. And it's time to take an inventory and going, am I relying too heavy on one area of my life and neglecting another one? And it's all about balance. That old saying, everything in moderation, is absolutely true, right? So I want you to think about cycles in your life, rhythms, and balance. And where are you feeling off? And what's your action plan to help bring more of what you need into your life? And if that is confusing, you don't know where to start, or you would like a guide to help you create more balance in your life, then that is one of the things I specialize in. So if you want to learn more about how we can work together, I only take private clients right now, and you can find out more on my website, aprildarley.com. If you go to the shop section, you're able to see that resource, the High Achievers Survival Kit, Strategies to Break Free from Burnout. That one's available for you as well online. But you can also schedule a free consultation with me. So there are so many tools available to you that you don't have to feel overwhelmed and you don't have to do it alone. You also don't need to look at cycles as the enemy. They are a natural part of your life. And learning how to navigate these cycles is the key to sustaining your happiness. All right, my friends, I'm wishing you so much love and success, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.